listener. This is O.D.I. I have some astonishing news to share with you all. As you all have recognized, there wasn't an episode posted on Thursday. Do not worry. I have come up with a solution. I have tasked ThisIsSimplyComplicated to review a piece of media he consumed to give you something to listen to while the boys figure out the scheduling deal. MCZX and I agreed to no dead air or inconsistencies this year. He knows what will happen if there are inconsistencies or a bunch of dead air this year. So, please enjoy these weekly reviews until the crew is able to record again. Whether it is just MCZX and Reason, or MCZX and the Bearded Batman, or MCZX and a special guest, or all three of the boys, all together once again. Please enjoy these reviews. Who knows? I may task him to do mini episodes too, or mini rants, or something. I just don't want any inconsistency this year. We will not allow it. It is a mission statement. We will have something out each week or every 2 weeks. Once we figure out the recording schedule, that is when I will update you all again. But I bet you're wondering, what's today's review? Well, Big Event went down last night. All the wrestling fans know, and this one is for the wrestling fans. Today's review is the Royal Rumble 2023. Enjoy!
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to this new thing we're doing for Simply Complicated. This is MCZX here. As O.D.I mentioned in the intro, we are going to be reviewing the Royal Rumble. Well, you can join in if you want to, O.D.I. It's not mandatory if you do or don't. We're going to be reviewing the Royal Rumble, which just went down last night. Man, we had a time last night. We had a time last night.
It was fantastic, I must say. Truly beautiful. Beautiful storytelling. All in all.
Yes, O.D.I, it was. And I have to say this, I want to preface this now. If you haven't seen the Royal Rumble this year, I advise you to go and watch it. Go and watch it. If you're a wrestling fan, go watch it. Because I'm going to be talking about it in brief detail. I'm not going to go in great detail about every last spot that happened. I'm not going to talk about every move sequence. I'm going to just talk about the results and the matches, how I felt about them, and that'll be it. I'm not doing a super in-depth review here, but this will have spoilers in it. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I advise you to go take your time, watch the Royal Rumble, come back to this review. And if you're a non-wrestling fan and you just don't care about this stuff, I'm going to try to explain it to you all the best I can. You can also not listen to this review, or you can go watch the Royal Rumble for yourself and get immersed in the world of pro wrestling and then come back and listen. So let's jump right into it. O.D.I, are you ready to talk about the Royal Rumble, or how are we feeling?
Honestly, we can talk about it. I think the show was great from beginning to end. The ending really solidified the show being awesome. But we'll get to that.
So this is the Royal Rumble review. Here we go. So to start, Pat McAfee's back. Pat McAfee came back. I didn't see that coming because, he's doing college football and commentating on that. So he's always busy. But he made time to make it to the Rumble. Joined Cole and Graves on commentary. I rated that a 10 out of 10 because Pat McAfee and Michael Cole are a dynamic duo. And it just made me happy to see Michael Cole thrown off by Pat being here and Corey being disgusted that Pat was here, that made me so happy. Pat McAfee's back, I guess, for the Rumble, and maybe he's going to be back for WrestleMania as well. I don't know if he'll be on SmackDown this upcoming week, but at least we got him for the Royal Rumble. So to kick off the show was the men's Royal Rumble match, and overall, I rated that a 7. It was a solid Royal Rumble match.
I also thought that it was worth a 7. It was good, structured well, and not overly produced. It didn't rely on a lot of surprises. It used what it had and made the most with it.
Exactly, Adi. That's what it did. It wasn't a here's some guys from the past like Steve Blackman, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Kane, The Undertaker. You know, it didn't have like a bunch of major surprises. But the surprise they did had, I was pleased with. Edge came back. I called that leading up to it when speaking with Shino about this. By the way, go listen to Nobody's Ready for Wrestling. He's going to have a very, very in-depth and detailed review unlike this one. And Booker T came back. Booker T looks great, by the way. Edge looks great, and Booker T looks like shredded. Like it's like he isn't aged at all. I feel like he has one more run in him. That's just me personally. But I had a couple of gripes with this Royal Rumble, and the first one was it was not necessarily a Royal Rumble because it was only 29 men, and it's supposed to be 30 men in the Royal Rumble. If you don't know, the Royal Rumble match consists of 30 men or 30 women entering the match. Last person in the ring is the winner. People get eliminated by being tossed over the top rope, not in between it or under it. It's got to be over. And we didn't get 30 entrants for the men's Royal Rumble. We got 29 because at number 17 was supposed to be Rey Mysterio, and for some reason, he never came out. And we can all assume that Dominic Mysterio, his terrible son, is the reason why Rey Mysterio did not show up for the Royal Rumble, because he did have his mask when he showed up and he ripped it up. So they hold Rey Mysterio once again, and I'm disappointed.
As am I. I was hoping that someone would take Rey Mysterio's spot. Hopefully an NXT superstar or another legend.
Exactly, Adi. That's what I would have liked to see. I wanted it to be full and not have this odd debate that could possibly be held, like, well, Rey Mysterio never entered the Royal Rumble, so the winner of the Royal Rumble isn't necessarily the winner because he didn't throw over, the other guy that was supposed to participate in the Royal Rumble. He ain't even show up. And I know people are going to argue that. I even argued that on Twitter for a little bit. I'm like, well, I don't know. This feels kind of, I don't like that. I just felt like that's inconsistent from the rules. That's not what the rules say. The rules say this was supposed to be, and you should have thrown someone else in there. I mean, Pat McAfee could have jumped in and took Rey Mysterio's spot and got thrown over and went back on commentary, and I would have been completely fine with that. But, it is what it is. So, I would like to say before I get to the winner, Gunther started at number 1, lasted till the end. If Gunther does not get a world title run in WWE, we are doing something wrong. This man got the endurance. He's clearly got the appeal of like serious champion. We need that. We even got the Brock Lesnar Gunther stare down, which is what the IWC has been clamoring for. They want that match. I want that match. I want to see if Brock can handle Gunther and vice versa. But all roads point, see what I did there? All roads point to Brock versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Maybe we can get that. I hope they don't do that at Elimination Chamber, by the way, because that's a Mania match. That is definitely a Mania match. But Gunther versus Lesnar needs to happen at some point. And if it happens at the Chamber, hey, I'm not opposed, but Gunther can't be losing, man, because I want Gunther to have a triple threat match at Mania. I want him to be Gunther versus McIntyre versus Sheamus, and Sheamus needs to get his Grand Slam title by finally beating Gunther and becoming the Intercontinental Champion for the first time in his career. So that would be cool. Now, let's get to the winner. If you live under a rock or don't follow pro wrestling, Cody Rhodes is back in WWE. Cody Rhodes left AEW last year, came back at WrestleMania last year. He suffered a torn pectoral muscle, and he's been rehabbing to get back. He got cleared the night of the Rumble. So he came back, announced he was coming to the Rumble weeks before he wasn't cleared to be at the Rumble, announced that he was going to be there. He showed up, cleared that night. Everyone knew that Cody's destiny is to win the Royal Rumble match, to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Everyone knows that's where we're going. That's where the roads are pointing. And that's what exactly happened. Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble by eliminating Gunther. Very sweet moment. He said something in the ring. It looked like he mouthed, "I did it, Dad." That was nice. That was very heartwarming. And he did the too sweet sign and a little gun boom. Little shout out to the Young Bucks and Bullet Club, the boys over at AEW. I felt like that was sweet of him to do. But Cody wins the Royal Rumble, folks. You all saw it coming if you follow pro wrestling. For everyone that's new, Cody's a big deal now. He used to be with WWE, wasn't treated as a big deal. Was more of a mid-card, upper mid-card guy. Then he left, made a name for himself on the Indies in New Japan, and started AEW. And once he left AEW, WWE was like, yeah, we want that guy. We want that guy because he's a big draw. And unfortunately, if Cody wasn't going to go heel in AEW, he was going to leave regardless. And thankfully, he left. And, it all worked out. There's no bad blood over there. And I like that. We need more of that in pro wrestling. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I have one thing to add to that. The only thing I would like to speak about is why we didn't get Carmelo Hayes in the Royal Rumble. He should have been there. I don't know why. If someone should have took number 17 spot, it should have been Carmelo Hayes. That guy's next. He should be up there. Or it could have been Bron Breakker, the current NXT champion. He's already been on the main roster to participate in a match with Dolph Ziggler to win back his NXT championship. I don't see why he couldn't have been in the Royal Rumble just to represent NXT. There was no one representing NXT in the men's Royal Rumble, which is a shame because the men who work at NXT work extremely hard, and they should be showcased.
Exactly, Adi. I agree. That was a shame that they didn't pull anyone from NXT to be in the Rumble, but maybe next year we'll have some more representation of NXT. They should have had at least one guy from NXT, since it was 29 men, so it should have been one guy from NXT to just jump in the match and get thrown out, but at least represent NXT. And that's all I'm saying. The women, we'll get to it. But men's Royal Rumble, I rated a 7. It's all right. And now we move on to the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, the first of its kind. Mountain Dew is everywhere. Drink Mountain Dew.
Seriously, don't drink Mountain Dew though, because it's pretty bad for you. And they're not sponsoring this, so I can say what I want. And if they ever do sponsor this, I'll re-upload the episode without this part in it. Do not drink Mountain Dew though. It's disgusting. Dr. Pepper better.
This is Bray Wyatt's grand return to pro wrestling as he's taking on LA Knight. I'm glad he's feuding with Bray because perfect. They have chemistry. We didn't know what we were getting into when we watched this match. I was under the impression that this was going to be a cinematic match, if anything, because of the way it was presented. It seemed like we're going to be in on a lot maybe, and crazy stuff is going to happen, but it was an actual wrestling match. It was a wrestling match under black lights. The lights you use to scan hotel rooms and see if your room is clean, that type of light. So it was like a black lit match. I would say the feud between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight has been very interesting to watch. Because no one thought LA Knight was going to be in this position anyway. And since he is now in said position, folks have to understand that LA Knight is that guy. and so is Bray Wyatt. The story has been great. The black light stuff was cool. I thought that was cool. LA Knight's attire, it was like this neon green. It looked like Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is heavy in this match. And Bray's face paint, he looked like it didn't look like much with the regular lights. Once the black lights came on, it was like, oh crap, that's a demon. I don't even know what version of Bray Wyatt that is. That's a demon. And I loved it. He even had the Mountain Dew tattoo on his shoulder. So this was a heavy Mountain Dew match. I would like to go away from these super sponsored matches because it's just it's kind of cringy to look at. Because why is Mountain Dew on Bray Wyatt's shoulder? And why is LA Knight dressed as a bottle of Mountain Dew? I get it. They sponsored the match. But at the same time, just why? I did not ask for this.
Sponsorships. That's what sponsorships are, dude.
Thanks, O.D.D.I. Thanks. The match itself, though, to me, I think it's their first outing against each other. I don't think they've ever faced each other in the past on the indies or before they were in WWE. I don't think that's ever happened, but this is their first match together, and it's not like they don't have chemistry. They got chemistry on the microphone, but in the ring, it needs a little work. To me personally, I didn't think much of it. I thought they could have did a little bit more, or they needed some more time, but the match seemed a bit shorter than what I expected it to be. However, it was all right. It wasn't like, oh my God, the greatest pro wrestling match I've ever seen. No, it was okay. It was okay. Bray Wyatt picks up the win here with his sister Abigail, and then post-match stuff happened, and that's what made me bump the rating up because I wasn't that impressed with the match itself, but the post-match stuff, I enjoyed that a lot more. So, Bray goes into the corner and he's like looking down, and I'm like, all right, I don't know what this is about. Maybe here comes Uncle Howdy. He looks down and then he looks back up and turns around, and he has this new mask on, and under the black lights, it looks fantastic. It looks sick. It's like he turned into a completely different person because LA Knight was like, I saw that and said, fuck that, I'm out of here. No, screw that dude. I'm out of here. I'm not going to fight that dude. I don't want to fight that. This man starts to stalk LA Knight, and LA Knight has a kendo stick in his hand. Now, what he should have been doing, LA Knight should have been swinging for the fences, because if a thing like that is chasing me, I'm going to swing at it. And if it don't work, then I'm running away, right? So LA Knight's backing away to the next set piece, and he's just holding the candlestick. It's like, oh no, no. And he hits him with it. And it's like, Bray didn't even feel it. Bray looked up at him like, nope, that ain't doing anything to me. So LA Knight hits him again. Nothing. It gets up to the little piece, and then Bray gets the mandible claw and puts LA Knight to sleep. He's on the piece, and Bray just is standing over him, and you can look up above him. You see Uncle Howdy. And Uncle Howdy's staring at Bray, and then he looks at LA Knight, and he just jumps off. Now, at this point, I'm like, oh, he unalived himself. He just unalived himself, because the minute he lands onto the piece that like implodes, fire comes out and fireworks go off in the back. And there's like a curtain above Bray, and that curtain opens, and it's the Firefly Funhouse characters. They're all alive again, admiring the work that's been done. And Bray's posing. That was cool, but yo, Uncle Howdy is probably a graduate of Jeffrey Hardy University. He was supposed to land on LA Knight, I'm assuming, but he hit the little piece that broke instead, and that was it. I'm interested to see where Bray's story goes, because he's a fantastic storyteller. He's a great wrestler too, but I wish we would have got more wrestling out of Bray. I know he can go. I've seen him go when he was wrestling Daniel Bryan. It was at a Royal Rumble. He wrestled Daniel Bryan there. That was a fantastic match. His Shield Wyatt family stuff, amazing. Like, Bray Wyatt can wrestle. It's just, it seemed like they didn't get enough time. And I get it. There's a show to run, but I needed more wrestling from Bray. I'm going to give the Pitch Black match a 6 out of 10. And now we move forward to Bianca versus Alexa. I didn't expect much out of this. I already had a feeling like Bianca's retaining, because there's no way they're taking the belt off of her. at the Rumble to Alexa. There's just no way. I'm sorry, Alexa Bliss fans. I know you guys want her to be champion again, but right now, storytelling wise, it doesn't make any sense for her to lose the belt. So Bianca's been holding this belt for, I think it's 300 plus days now. Just a quick recap. So basically, Alexa and Bianca were friends, and then they weren't friends because of all this Uncle Howdy stuff, because Bliss continued to get possessed. Bliss was like one of the first people to really hurt Bianca Belair. Like, she made her get stitches under her chin. She kept dropping her on like the steel steps. She beat the crap out of Bianca. I ain't gonna lie. But this led to this match and Alexa claiming that she's the one in control here. When reality is it doesn't seem like she is, because she wasn't doing any of this stuff until Bray came back and until she started seeing those cicada images. They do a great recap on the show, so if you're a non-wrestling fan, just watch the show. The match itself was fine. It was fine. It was much like their Raw Women's Championship match, except this one had a conclusion compared to the Psycho Brawl that Bliss went through. Bianca was beating ass. She was beating ass. Bliss just was overwhelmed. I'm sorry, she was overwhelmed. She wasn't any match for Bianca, like, at all. Like, I don't know if Uncle Howdy unlocked something for Bianca, because Bianca was aggressive this match, like way more aggressive than she normally was. Like, when she's wrestling, she's not like trying to hurt people, but she was like beating Alexa's ass with the hits. There was one point in the match where, how the baby faces do like their 10 punches, like it's 1, 2, 3. She wasn't doing that. Bianca was like, meek. Like, Bianca was beating ass this night. So she beats Alexa, hits a KOD, wins, and then we get to the post-match stuff with Alexa. And Alexa's just kind of sitting in the ring looking defeated, and then a video starts to play. And despite Uncle Howdy jumping off of whatever that structure was and landing into fire, the video has Uncle Howdy, showing a playground and visions of Bliss before Bray was fired, when, she was doing the Twisted Bliss stuff, when Bliss was doing stuff with the doll Lily, right? So you're seeing all this Twisted Bliss stuff. The one phrase that comes through keeps repeating itself: do you think that you're in charge? And it's followed by a lot of laughing. So Bliss may think she's the one in charge, but she obviously is not, because Uncle Howdy is in control of her and Bray Wyatt in some way, shape, or form. And I am more interested to see who is portraying Uncle Howdy. That's what I want to see. The story of Bliss and Howdy is going to continue, and it's something to keep your eyes on if you watch Monday Night Raw. So that was cool. I'm going to give that a 6.9. I would have gave it a 7. If they had more time, I would have gave it a 7. Now we're getting to the Women's Royal Rumble. Oh, fantastic. Adi, before I get to this Rumble, do you have anything else to say?
Not necessarily. I thought Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss did a great job. Awesome match. I can't wait to see who Uncle Howdy is. Also, for the pitch black match, the pitch black match was very strange. Do that again. But sponsorships are cool, bro. They are cool.
Thanks for the reminder. So let's get back on track. Women's Royal Rumble. So let me set the story. At first, it seemed like the direction that we're going into was Liv Morgan was going to enter at number 1 and win this entire Royal Rumble, because she declared it. And as time progressed and we got closer to the Rumble, we got further away from that. Like, this started to be less about Liv and more about all the other women who were joining the Royal Rumble, which I don't have a problem with, because it makes it less predictable. But as soon as Rhea Ripley said, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble, I'm sorry, my entire focus point on Liv shifted straight to Rhea. I'm like, nah, Rhea got to win this. Got to be Rhea. Rhea has to win this. If Liv wasn't winning it, my bet was Rhea was winning it. And I didn't see anyone else being announced for it. There's like only 13 women announced, or 15 women announced, or 14, one of those numbers. It was down to either Rhea or Liv, because they really proved themselves. I'm going to say right now, this was the best Rumble of the night. The women showed out. They outdid the men expeditiously, and we need to thank TJ Wilson, Molly Holly, and Jason Jordan for producing that Rumble. That was awesome. Clap it up for them. Adi, can we hit the button for the claps to come through? I would love to get some claps. Where are those claps? Clap for them, please. Yes, 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 yes. I love it. Cheer for him. That Rumble is fantastic. I had so much fun watching that one compared to the men's Rumble because I didn't know where it was going. Like, it seemed obvious that Rhea was going to win the Rumble. Hell, she started at number 1, and I felt like, all right, that ain't happening. But it did happen. It did happen. She started at 1 and won the whole thing. She made history, and now Rhea has a decision to make. Big decision to make. She can either avenge her loss against Charlotte Flair, or she can do what we all have been fiending for. We know this can be the next Austin versus Rock, similar type of thing. This could be the first Bianca versus Rhea, though. And we need that. Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, they're rivals because they came up together. They came up at the same time together. They need to wrestle each other. It's been hinted at. I remember it was at a point on a Raw where Bianca was like walking in a hallway and then was Rhea. They just kind of stared at each other for a second and then kept walking. Like, it's there. The seeds are planted there. We need that. We need it. We need it. We need it. And it's up to Rhea and to decide where she wants to go. Does she want to avenge her loss at WrestleMania 36 to beat Charlotte, or does she want to start this new feud with Bianca Belair? I'm all for it. I'm all for either decision. And I have to say, it was an awesome showing by Liv Morgan. At this point, she's a made woman. Like, she is going to be top babyface of either SmackDown or Raw. That lady puts in work, clearly has the endurance. She went from being eliminated in 36 seconds at a certain Royal Rumble to now lasting over an hour in this one. So kudos to Liv Morgan, and the surprises were great. We got Roxanne Perez representing NXT. Then Asuka came back. When Asuka came back, my entire thought of Rhea Ripley winning the Rumble, I threw it out the window. I'm like, I don't need that. Because Asuka came back as the murder clown. When she was Kana, she used to wear this face paint, and she beat ass. She wore the face paint, murder clown Kana face paint, and I marked out. I thought that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Chelsea Green also came back, made history by being eliminated in under 10 seconds, so it was like 5 seconds. Michelle McCool entered from the crowd. She left her kids, like, I guess I have to wrestle in Uggs. And then number 30, Nia Jax showed up. They botched her return too, so it's like, all right, screw that. The remaining participants in the ring beat the crap out of Nia Jax and got her out of here because you ain't winning this Rumble. And Rhea hit a riptide on her. Final 3 was Asuka, Liv, and freaking Rhea. I didn't know where we were going. I thought maybe Asuka's winning this. We can get Asuka versus Bianca since they were also friends. By the way, if Rhea does not pick Bianca and decides to avenge her loss against Charlotte, Asuka versus Bianca is right there. It's right there. That is a WrestleMania match. Give it to me. Give it to me. Inject in my vein. Inject in my vein. Put it on the TV. We need it. And hopefully, if that happens, if we get Asuka versus Bianca, if we get it, I believe that we should have Asuka defeat Bianca and let Asuka start this undefeated streak all the way to the next WrestleMania. I would love to see that. Because I don't think Asuka hasn't won at a Mania. I don't believe she has. Adi, give me the information. Has Asuka won a WrestleMania match? She lost at WrestleMania 37. I know she lost to Charlotte. Yeah, Asuka hasn't won a WrestleMania match. Like, at all. What the hell? What the hell? She has not. She is 0-3 at WrestleManias, y'all. She hasn't won a single WrestleMania match. I don't like that. That needs to be rectified. And if anything, she needs to beat Bianca at Mania, becoming Raw Women's Champion, and starting the reign to remind people that she is one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I would love to see it. But Rhea Ripley won the Royal Rumble. I'm rating that Women's Rumble a 9.5. I wish it was Naomi at number 30. That would have been a huge pop, but I don't think she's coming back. And I really don't think she's coming back. I think that's a done deal. And wherever she goes, I'm going to follow because I love Naomi, just like I love Mercedes Moné. We'll see how that goes for those two women. Rhea got a decision to make. Either one's going to be awesome. 9.5. And finally, our main event, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens.
Also known as cinema. That was cinema.
Yes, O.D.D.I, cinema. I'm going to just get the rating out the way now. It's a 10. It's a 10. It's a 10. The match was a 10. The post-match stuff was a 10. All of it was a 10. I'm going to go over... I'm not even going to go over the match. We're going to just let you know. Watch that match. It was brutal. It was sick. It's fantastic. I'm about to spoil the end of the match. So, Roman speared KO through like the little the little crowd panel thing. He spears him through that, and then he throws his head against the steel steps. Now, if your back of your hand don't reach the back of your head, and your head hit those steel steps, the back of your head gonna be split open. So he does it twice. KO he slapped Roman. He slapped Roman. That's what it was. KO slaps Roman, and then Roman hits him with a spear. 1, 2, 3. Right. This is where things ramp up even more. So the Bloodline storyline may be the greatest storyline WWE has ever produced. The Bloodline storyline overall, if you sold it on a Blu-ray disc, I would buy at least 9 copies of that disc just so I could watch it and show people this is what pro wrestling is all about. It's all about stuff like this. This run that Roman Reigns is on has solidified him as the guy, freaking legend. He don't even need to do nothing. He went from being shoved down our throats as the guy to actually being himself, coming the guy. And that's what's important. That's what we needed. We needed that out of him. And thankfully, this management is allowing that. Granted, the old management started this story, right? But this new management is knocking it out the park. Hunter and Creative's knocking it out the park. If Vince created this, it's the only credit I'll give Vince moving forward. But this storyline is fantastic. I believe anybody who's a non-wrestling fan, you may feel a little lost when you're watching this because you're not as invested as everyone. You're not as invested as the pro wrestling fans are because you don't know the ins and outs of the story. It's like the best way I can explain it is if I just made you watch like the 4th season of My Hero Academia and you have no idea what's going on. Sure, you can say the action's great and all this is good, but you won't get the emotional connection because you didn't start the show. You know what I'm saying? You didn't start from season 1 to watch this character grow to where this character is now. You get what I'm saying? And it's kind of the same thing with the Bloodline storyline. It sucks that non-wrestling fans may not have the emotional connection because they didn't watch every week and every pay-per-view of, Sammy joining the Bloodline, Sammy being a part of the Bloodline, Sammy being questioned about the Bloodline, and it's more than just Sammy. Like, it goes as far as back to 2020 when Jay was feuding with Roman. Like, there's so many layers to this storyline. It would be very hard for me to explain it to a non-wrestling fan because you'd have to go back. You got years of work to get back to watching all this stuff to get the emotional connection that you would get. But just understand, this is a very beautiful story that's being told. If you've been there from beginning to end, you understand this is a fantastic story. So let's get to the post-match. KO is laid out, right? Laid out, and they're about to give Sammy the necklace that Roman wears. It's called the Ula Fala. They're about to give him one so he can become an official member of the Bloodline, right? So Jay's about to hand it to him, but Roman's like, nah. Don't give him that yet. We gotta take care of the problem. Now, KO is out. He's out. Mans is knocked out. Like he ain't getting up. Roman sends the Usos and Solo to beat him up some more. So they are beating the piss out of Kevin Owens. And at some point it became a bit uncomfortable to watch. I'm like, he's not fighting back. And y'all you're kicking his ass. He's down. He's out. He's not fighting back. Like, you won. Enough. And Sammy's watching this and he's so conflicted. He's like, oh my God. Okay. All right. We get it. We get it. But Roman's like, nah, we got to take care of the problem. You don't need this. You got to take care of the problem. Yada, yada, yada. And then the boys start beating him up. Super kick after super kick. They freaking put a chair around Kevin's neck and Solo does the hip splash that Umaga used. Then after that, Roman pulls out handcuffs. 2 pairs of handcuffs. I'm like, what does you need 2 pairs of handcuffs for? Like, what are we doing now? Like, what is you on some freak man stuff right now? Handcuffs Kevin to the ropes. So Kevin is like being held up by the rope. Here comes the super kicks. They super kick Kevin, and Kevin's just out of it. And even before that, he got Samoan Spike. They were beating his ass. Just put it like that. They were beating this man's ass. Kevin's held up. And Roman is about to take a chair to Kevin's face. Like, we're about to end this. Roman has this chair in his hand. And Kevin's out. Like I've stated, the man is out. He is out. He's been super kicked to death. Hip attack to the throat with the chair around it. The man's handcuffed. He looks like he's dead, basically. And Roman tells Sammy, see, when the ring is ours when you're with us, the bloodline. So I'm sorry, quote, the ring is ours when you're with the bloodline. Otherwise, go do jackass shit. Roman's about to hit this man in the face with the chair. Now, if you know WWE, you can't do chair shots to the head. So before Roman swings the chair, Sammy gets in the way. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's like, you're better than this. You're better than this. You're better than this. You don't have to. He's already out. He's done. You don't have to do this. It's over. It's over. You got him. You got him. And Roman hands Sammy the chair, saying like, you're right. You're right. I don't have to do this. Don't have to do this. You do it. So Sammy's like, huh? Like, he's like, this is beneath you, Roman. You don't have to do this. Yada, yada, yada. You know, he's trying to convince him, like, chill. You're like, your anger's getting the best of you. You already beat Kevin Owens. Kevin is down. You don't have to worry about me going to be friends with him. Don't worry about that. Like, we good, right? And Roman gets in the man's face, so pushing him around. And that quote that I mentioned earlier, he may have said it then. Look, it's one night out. I don't remember the exacts, but I remember what was said. So pushing him around, mushed him in the face. Sammy kind of gets in his face, but kind of snaps out of it quick, like, oh shit, I was about to fight Tribal Chief, yada, yada, yada. But someone mushes you in the face, you get in their face. So Roman turns around. Sammy has a chair in his back. Solo, Jay, and Jimmy are waiting. And Paul, they're waiting for Sammy to hit Kevin in the face while he's defenseless, right? And then it happens. Sammy, he took a minute, but Sammy hits the Tribal Chief in the back with the chair. Very reminiscent of when Seth Rollins hit Roman in the back when they were part of the Shield, thus breaking up the Shield. This was Poe because it broke up the bloodline in a sense. A split appeared. A big crack showed because the moment Sammy hit Roman in the back, he popped that came out of that entire crowd in San Antonio, and the shock on Jay, Jimmy, Paul's face. Solo wasn't happening. Solo already knew. If you go back and watch during the pre-show, Solo just was staring daggers into Sam. He's like, I'm gonna get this man. This man's gonna. I'm hitting this man. I'm spiking him in the throat because I don't trust him. Solo never trusted the dude, right? The shock amongst the crowd, myself, everybody, we're like, no way. And Jay's like, why'd you do that, man? Why'd you do that? I trusted you like a brother, man. I loved you like a brother. And Jimmy yells, you loved him like a brother? I'm your brother. And super kicks Sammy. And that's the beatdown on Sami Zayn begins. Jimmy, Solo, and Roman are beating the piss out of Sami Zayn now because of his decision. Roman is just shouting. I'm like, everything I've done for you, y'all. Just yelling. And Jay's just in the corner watching like, oh my God. And Jimmy's like, come on, Oos. Jimmy rolls out the ring, walks up the ramp, puts his hand in his face like the man was crying. And speaking of crying, I didn't mention when Roman gave him the chair, Paul's like, he's crying. And Roman's like, there's no crying in the bloodline. I thought that It's so funny. So Jay's walking up the ramp, not participating, and Jimmy, Solo, Roman, they beat the shit out of Sammy. Roman rips the honorary Uso shirt up right off of Sammy's back. He takes a Ula Fala, and it looked like he was about to place it on his chest, but before he could do that, the crowd started saying, "Fuck you, Roman," like super loud. Super loud. And Roman just kind of took it in and started to peel the Ula Fala and like put it on Sammy's chest, like piece by piece by piece. They leave the ring, crowd shocked. I'm hurt. Again, layers. There's layers. There was a call back at the Hell in a Cell match when Jimmy saved Jay from Roman beating the living dog shit out of him, which people may not remember. That was the thing that happened. Jimmy was the same one. Then Jay, joined up with Roman, and then Jimmy was like, "Nah, bro, Cuz is tripping, you tripping," by listening to Cuz, and then eventually Jimmy comes around, like, "Nah, I get it now too." It seems like we have gone full circle, because now Jimmy is the insane one. Jay's back to hold the hell up. This never was cool in the first place. What are we doing here? What is this? What is this? I love that man like a brother, and you just gonna do that to family? Because that's not what you do to family. Jay's having internal conflicts. Jimmy's like, my brother's not rocking with me. That's my blood right there. Solo don't care. Solo just like doing whatever. And Roman is pissed that his family is falling apart. And it's all because of Kevin Owens and now Sami Zayn. And I'm just excited to see where we go from here. The story's not over, folks. So if you are just jumping in, jump in now and watch till WrestleMania. Be a wrestling fan if you're a non-wrestling fan, all the way up until WrestleMania, because I'm quite sure you might be a lifelong fan after this. You might be. This is a fantastic story. If we could nominate a wrestling storyline for an Oscar, I would nominate this Bloodline storyline for an Oscar. They deserve it. They deserve it. This is like a movie. It stops becoming pro wrestling for a second and it becomes a movie. And they're killing it. They're killing it. And the show closes, and that's it. Cinema, as O.D.D.I said. Cinema. And that was the Royal Rumble 2023. Honestly, if I have to give it a full rating, I'm going to give it an 8.5. If the Bloodline stuff and the Women's Rumble was not on the show, this would have been like a solid 5. Would have been mediocre at best. But it went in the right order. Everything was a great show. Solid show. Very fantastic show. And if you're invested, man, you're going to love this one. You're going to love this one. And that's all I have to say about the Royal Rumble 2023. Thank you all for listening to this new venture we're on. I appreciate it. And I'm not being held against my will to do it. I know O.D.D.I said something about a laser through the skull, but I think that's just jokes.
No, I'm serious. You gotta be more consistent. You can't be inconsistent after saying we're gonna be more consistent and sustainable.
You're right. But you are joking, right?
MC, I'm not joking. I have a laser right now. It's at your head. No, MC, I'm not joking. The laser is always targeted your head. Even when you move. I wouldn't kill you though. Because I love you. Thank you. Just know you have to stick to what you say. And do what you say you are going to do. Do not become a lazy. You have to do stuff regardless. You have responsibilities.
Thank you. Well, with that threat being secure and now my life being on the line if I don't do these, thank you for listening, folks. Till the next review, and hopefully once we're able to get back together, we'll have more episodes of Simply Complicated for you. But till then, please enjoy it. Enjoy me reviewing media. I think the next thing we'll review at some point in time. Thank you for listening, folks. The next review, I'm not sure what it would be. If I consume another piece of media, I will report back here and talk about it. Romantic Killer might be the next thing, since that is the last show I watched. And it'll probably be shorter than this Royal Rumble one. But you guys take care. You be good, and I will see you on the next one. I don't know what song you're gonna pick, O.D.D.I. I don't know what we're gonna pick for song, but you know what? That's it. That is it. And y'all take care. Be good, and I'll see you on the next one. The next review, that is.
Bye-bye now. I hope you all enjoyed that. Bye-bye.
schedule under control. That's a lot of reviews. And I'm gonna have to consume a piece of media every week. Oh, I'll only get better at this the more I do it. So why not? See y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Bye.